Sorry about the cutoff on that last video, but a customer came in. I am at work and it's very dry. The climate here is very dry. I just resolved, with the help of the Father, resolved a mold issue that I was having, and I was having breathing issues. I'm sure I even look different because now I can breathe. And I wanted to finish the what I was showing you the other, or reading to you this passage, and it's titled "Jesus, the Way to the Father," where they're asking him, "Well, where are you going?" And this might be a little easier for me. And I had gotten to the part where Jesus answered Philip, and he said, "Don't you know me, Philip, even after I have been among you such a long time? Anyone who has seen me has seen the Father." "How can you say that?" Philip says. "Show us the Father." "Don't you believe that I am in the Father, and the Father is in me?" And this is Jesus speaking. "The words I say to you, I do not speak on my own authority. Rather, it is the Father living in me. So this is what I mean by walking in the light, is that the Father that resides in us will show more of himself to you, and you will be ready for it. There is a readiness. The Father has shown and taught me that there is what's called a readiness. Each person has their own readiness, because you walk your own path and you learn your own lessons, and nobody can tell you how to walk your path. You have to learn how to walk your own path. So when we first arrive here in a body, and we are no longer in spirit form, we are in earth form. We are made of clay and water, and we are 78% water. You are therefore able to be programmed in any particular way, because water, being the most significant source in your body, is easily programmed even by thought. And you can look up Dr. Miyoto, I think is his name, I'm not sure, but he's a Japanese doctor who did research on programming water. Literally, he took water from a canal, a very well-known canal in Japan, and he labeled the bottle with the water from the canal, which is so poisonous. If you swim in that, you will die. You will immediately, if you fall in, they'll take you to the hospital immediately. After 1 month with the label love, the water cleared up and was drinkable. And this is just an example of how powerful the word love is, even just being on a label. It is the creation, it is the single most word used to create the universe. And that is another thing that I am here to share with you, is that my path has opened up enough for me to be shown that. And I'll tell you some examples, and you can look at my videos here of some of the examples, such as the piano, and see that the word love is that powerful, and you program your life. You set that word in front of you when you leave your home. As you leave your home, say love, 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 love into your home. Therefore, you're blessing and protecting your home from anybody coming in. When you leave your home, as you're walking forward to your car, love, 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 programming your car, all that whole space, you are protected. Everywhere you go, you need protection, because you also will have guidance along with the word love. You will be able to guide people in ways you never even could fathom, because the Father will work with you because you are surrounding yourself in his love and light. And I cannot express it enough to you how important this is, especially now. Especially now. And could it also be that when they talked about the 144,000, at that time there were a certain number of people on this planet? Could it be possible that they're talking about 144,000 people is all it would take to change the earth so that the earth could be the way that it was with Adam and Eve? Could we find our way? Let's try it. Let us try that. Spread the word of love. Spread the word of light and love of the Father that resides within you. And see how it works for you. Love, 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 love. That's the pinnacle you want to reach when you have a request, when you are trying to release anger, when you are trying to release your past, the past that never serves you anyway, other than the past that we learn from. And we can learn better when we forgive those that we need to forgive, because they'll keep popping up otherwise. Love, 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 love. And you have this understanding of why that event happened. And because of that event, you will become stronger if you haven't already. But you will become even stronger because you have wrapped that situation in God's love and light. And you no longer have to burden it upon you anymore. You will be relieved from those burdens and from those people. And if you ever think about them again, you'll have a smile on your face. If you do. And you may a few times after that, but only a few times after that perhaps. And then it's like you never think of them anymore because you have showered them with God's love. And you have showered that part of your path with love. So your slate is clean. Everything is clean. And his messages will come forward out of rolling off your tongue. You won't even know what you say. And then you will realize that message is also for you, for your own personal growth. This is why we have to be outside and we have to be around others so that we can share God's love with them, to spark their love, their inner spark. That's what we do for one another. You are all here for me. I am here for everybody on this planet. I came back from a near-death experience. Jesus is the one that shoved me down into the grass into complete darkness and told me, I'm going to shove you down into the grass and you are going to fall into complete darkness and you're going to be afraid. I looked at him like, me? He looked at me like, you? Yes. And what he did, he said, you're going to be afraid. And I said, okay, because I knew he always speaks the truth. Always. And he stands behind me and puts his hands on my shoulders. And as soon as his hands touched my shoulders, a perfect circle of sparkler formed on the grass. Mind you, we're in a place of loving light. There is a lot of magic there. There are beings that are there that you've never seen before, only there you have. And part bird, part horse, part human, part man, part lion, part woman. And I'm not going to tell you any more than that. Anyway, and so as soon as that ring forms, I start gliding straight down through the grass and into complete darkness. And I'm falling. And I was so scared that I forgot what he had told me. And what he told me is, when you are afraid, all you have to do is think of me. He didn't say it like that. He's a lot nicer than that. He says, all you have to do is think of me. And I said, okay, I can do that. And then that's when he gave me the double take, like, really, you think you can? And so, like I said, I was so afraid I couldn't remember what he said. And then, oh, think of him, Aaron. I'm over here. And I looked, and he was to my left. And he was about 6 inches in height. Pure white light, pure bright white light. And that was when I realized he is the light. Right? When you're not in your body, you are also the light. You're a light body in a dark body. So as I'm falling and he's moving around me from my left in front of me to my right, and he's growing exponentially fast, right? By the time he's in front of me, he's like normal height, 7 feet tall, maybe actually even taller than normal height. And he says, Aaron, I've been with you since the beginning. I've been with you since before the universe was created. I've been with you during the times you've been sad, during the times you've felt suicidal, during the times you've been angry, even the time you cursed my name, which I did when my grandmother passed. And I've never left your side. And I've never left your side. I walk with you through your entire life as I walk with all of God's children. And there's nothing in this universe that can harm you, he says to me. By that time, he's way over here on my right, and he's about 30 feet tall. Anybody that can grow from that to that, believe me, and that he's your protector, and he said that. I am your protector, and nothing in this universe can harm you. Believe me, there ain't nothing in this universe that could harm you. I felt so comforted by that. As I'm falling and looking down into complete darkness, all my fear went away, even fear of death went away, because I know he'll be there with me when I walk through the doorway of light again. And I looked down, and my body was laying in the bed still. And my feet went into my chest, and I went back into my body. And that's a whole other story and experience I want to tell you about, but I wanted to share that with you, to know that he walks with us in the light. And he will tell us certain things also. And his voice is different. The way he speaks is different. The way the Holy Spirit speaks is different. The way God speaks, the Father speaks, is different. Okay, so let's get back to this passage. Believe me when I say that I am in the Father and the Father is in me. I know I read that already. Or at least believe on the evidence of the works themselves. I have evidence of works. You will have evidence of works. Why would he say that you will do greater things than him if he didn't know for sure? He never spoke of things he didn't know for sure of, because the Father spoke through him. I'm not going to say swear to you know who, but all right. Very truly I tell you, whoever believes in me will do the works I have been doing, and they will do even greater things than these. I didn't pre-read this, so because I am going to the Father, and I will do whatever you ask in my name, so that the Father may be glorified in the Son. You may ask me for anything in my name, and I will do it. So in other words, when you make a request and you ask him to do it, he'll do it. Ask one of your relatives. It'll happen much faster. And just say, thank you so-and-so for getting me that milk from the store. I mean, thank you for the low car payment. Thank you for leading me to the right area I needed to be led to, that I need to be led to. Thank you for doing that for me. When you say thank you, it's as if it's already been done. and you believe in your heart and your mind and your spirit, it has already been done, knowing how you will feel afterward, and these gifts will be bestowed upon you. Whatever your request is. This title is Jesus Promises the Holy Spirit. If you love me, keep my commands, and I will ask the Father, and he will give you another advocate to help you and be with you forever. And that other advocate is the Holy Spirit. Or he'll send you someone. He'll send you another person in the flesh. Him in the flesh. Right? He'll send you. He sends over and over and over and over again people who come to you to spread his love. All it is love. Love and light. They're the same thing. And when you walk in the steps of love, and I've told you how to do that. Love, 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 love. It's in front of you because of your own voice. I can't do it for you. But believe me, whenever you're around me, you will feel his love for sure, because I will repeat his love over and over and over and over again. So that, when we communicate, that's what's coming from me to you. His love, not my love. That's automatically from me to you, and it will forever, it'll be that way. And I feel that way about all of God's children, all of my brothers and sisters. I love them all, no matter what they've done or haven't done, no matter what they do or won't do. I'm not here to make, any remarks about how people live their own lives. I am here to hopefully teach the love of the Father, and that's all I want to do. And so with that, I'm going to finish what this is saying. All this I have spoken while still with you, but the Advocate, the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, will teach you all things. I said I didn't pre-read this. The Father speaks through me. It's right here. We're living it right now. Whom the Father will send in my name will teach you all things and will remind you of everything I have said to you. The Holy Spirit will remind you. You don't have to go look into a book for it. I don't have to look into a book. Obviously, when I'm reading the scriptures and then saying something before it's like, I don't know. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. He is our protector. You never need to be afraid of anything or anyone. You call upon him. If somebody is being mean to you and you feel like you can't get away, you call upon the Master, and he will take care of them, and he will bring you away from them. He will bring someone to you to help you. Don't just sit there and let somebody be mean to you and mistreat you. You're a child of the highest King of all of the kings. And everyone should treat you with that respect of a royal. This is why we are so loving to one another on the other side. Verse 28. And this is John 14, by the way, verse 28. You heard me say, I am going away and I am coming back to you. If you loved me, you would be glad that I am going to the Father. For the Father is greater than I. I have told you now before it happens, so that when it does happen, you will believe. I will not say much more to you, for the prince of this world is coming. He has no hold over me, but he comes so that the world may learn that I love the Father and do exactly what my Father has commanded me, or has commanded me. So there it is. He speaks what the Father commands of him. And that is how all of us should be. And when you communicate, when the Father communicates with you, in the beginning you will shed a lot of tears. And he will, like with clay, or he will correct you in a loving way, though. Not in a way you think, not in a judgmental way. He will never judge you, and he will correct you about judgment also, if that is something that you have questions upon or about. Anything you have questions about, when you feel his presence, ask him those questions while he is with you. He will answer you. If your knees don't buckle, it depends on how strong you are with that. But that could happen. And when he begins communicating with you, and you share that love, because you'll feel that unconditional love, the light of the Father is upon you at that moment also. Ask him about if a negative place where certain burning of flesh will happen, if it exists. He'll correct you on that one as well. But the main thing is judgment. We have zero time for judgment. There is judgment, and judgment of yourself is prohibited. It's prohibited. Why? Because judgment is looking back at the past. There's nothing that can be changed about it. So why even bring it up? Right? If it's only going to cause us to fight and argue, why? I would never bring up the past with you, ever. If I did it, it's to thank you for helping me learn something. And so judgment is very non-fruitful. It does nothing for you in a positive way. Judgment is the worst waste of our time ever. So when I was feeling depressed and I was thinking suicidal thoughts, I was walking home one day, and I was doing everything I could possibly do in my power, in my own power, to ignoring what the flesh desires, right? For 2 months. And that's very hard for a man. Ask any man if he's ever done it. And anybody that has or has gone longer, my hat is off to you. And it becomes easier actually after a certain length of time. But I had never had a wet dream until, anyway, I won't get it. That might sound gross to some people, so I'm sorry I said that. But just to show you where I was at that time, and I was fighting parts of who I was made as, that he created. I adore women and their beauty. And I have had sexual relations with women. I've had sexual relations with men. I am also attracted to men. But that is how I was born. I had those feelings, non-sexual, mind you, when I was a child. Probably 3 years old is the first I could remember having a crush on liking them to where I wanted to hang out with them or become close to them, like friendship, And then later on that grew to more, and then, by the time you're 15, 16, you start hearing stories of your peers having sex and things like that. So I realized that I was bisexual. And I, for years, thought I was going to hell. And that was my main purpose of doing all of these things, so that I could have a closer communication with the Father. And I knew at some point he was going to talk to me. I knew this. I knew for a fact. And so knowing was the key. So the day that I knew for a fact was when I had my knowing, right? When you have your yes, when you realize, okay, I know I prayed for that, I don't have to ask about that anymore because I prayed for it one time and I know it's going to happen. This is what the Father also, what Jesus taught me, is when you ask, say thank you, right? As if it's already happened. That's your knowing. Okay, well, I didn't know that back then. So here I was, and I'm walking home, and I'm like 27 years old. And I said, Father, and I'm crying, how could you love me? And I felt this love encompass me. And all I could do was cry. And more. And I could feel his presence. Because I'm trying to remember back what he said to me. And he says, my child, what was that? And I started to ask again, and he interrupted, and he says, I heard what you said the first time. But what I don't understand is how could you ask the one that created you perfect the way you are, as I have created all of my children perfect the way they are? And he says, that comes from judgment. And I never gave you the power to judge, nor did I give that power to any of my children. I alone hold that power, yet I never use it because it's looking back at the past. And he says, think of do you know how much of your life you have spent judging yourself and others, Aaron? Your life is short and precious on earth. And you have spent, out of 27 years, 2 years, 8 months, 40 weeks, or whatever, however many, and he says all of this, and he knows exactly the time. And that was a waste of your life, Aaron, and you never get that life back. Never spend your time wasting on judging yourself or others. Can you promise me that from this day forward? And I said, yes. And he said, the reason I don't judge is because looking back at the past, nothing can be changed. Even being powerful, I cannot change your past. You cannot change your past. Nothing can change what you've done. You have done everything. And in my eyes, nothing is wrong because you are experiencing life there on earth, away from me. And he says, and it isn't fun, but you will be coming back home to me. And I said, well, while I have you here, does hell exist? I would never create a place like that for my children. That's something you all created. I love my children. I would never create a place like that for them. And so what he meant by that, I love my children. What do you need to say further than that? He doesn't second guess himself. We do. And yet I can tell my children I love them, and then with a forked tongue I can tell them and curse them and tell them things that they aren't. He doesn't ever do that for you or me. Instead, he will tell you, and he said to me, my precious, precious child, my love for you is greater than 1,000,000 of your lifetimes could ever possibly imagine and more. In other words, we couldn't even imagine his love for us. And my love never changes for you. And you will never be in a place where I am not. I would never create a place like that for you. Instead, I am creating a place for you now. And all of my children are going to be here with me, never to leave my side again. So that's why it is a sore subject with me to talk about the way that he chastised me and said for certain that that's where we're going. Are we not tortured enough here without him? That was his point. is that we are without him. That's why, and we have a hard time being here, and we are taught so many negative things and how to hate on others and, oh, tell him this and tell her that, and they should know better, and you should slap them or do this to them, and if they come to you, you should come back to them. No, it's about love, and we are missing that. That's why we reach out so much. And when someone is combative and you tell them that you love them, all of their walls will come tumbling down. You can call me any name in the book and I will tell you that I love you, because the love of the Father prevents me from saying anything negative to you. And I'll leave it at that and let them figure it out. And 99.9% of the time, they'll say, I'm sorry. I love you too. Because I'll tell them I love them. And there's nothing that'll break that for me. So always know that you are loved by me. Like I said, no matter what you've done or what you haven't done or won't do, it doesn't matter. All I know is that I'll see you on the other side. I'll see you in the light of love, of God's love, of the Father's love. I always call him the Father. I always call Jesus the Master. That's what we called him on the other side when I had my near-death experience. And the great Spirit of love, the Holy Spirit, however you feel comfortable. And you know what? Your path is how you feel comfortable. And when you come to walking in God's love and light, the Father's love and light, you'll have your own way of speaking. And it, well, it won't be your way. Period. It will not be your way. But I'm saying you'll have your own way of calling Father, the Master, the Holy Spirit. Believe me, when you're sharing with people, they'll correct you right then and there. So thank you for watching this. Click the like button, share with others if you want. And because ultimately your path is your path. I cannot tell you what to do, but know that I love you and have a very loving day.